The bar was dimly lit, filled with the low hum of hushed conversations and the occasional clink of glasses. In the far corner, sitting with his back to the wall, was William Carter, a man of few words and even fewer friends. The regulars called him the Colonel, though no one knew if he truly held that rank. His weathered face bore the marks of years spent in battle, a silent testament to his past. He nursed his drink quietly, his eyes scanning the room out of habit rather than interest. He appreciated the anonymity and quiet that this bar offered him. That calm evening was about to change. The heavy door slammed open, admitting a group of rowdy men whose laughter boomed through the room like thunder. William did not flinch. He had seen far worse in his lifetime. One of the men, a tall, muscular brute adorned with snaking tattoos, locked eyes with him, smirking. The brute sneered, "Hey old man, this isn't a retirement home. Maybe it's time for you to shuffle out of here before things get rough." William remained silent, taking another sip of his drink, his fingers tightening slightly around the glass. The tension in the bar grew thick. Like a brewing storm, the brute stepped closer, shoving William's shoulder roughly. Unshaken, the veteran's eyes flickered with a quiet intensity as he murmured under his breath, "You don't know what you started." The brute laughed heartlessly, unaware of the danger he was courting. Around them, the crowd watched in growing apprehension. The brute, emboldened by his friends, a scruffy bunch with too much confidence, circled closer. Yet William remained seated, his expression unchanged, his mind working silently behind calm eyes. As the brute leaned in, the scene set the stage for an inevitable confrontation that no one in the bar expected. The calm before the storm hung palpably in the air, with every patron frozen in anticipation of what might unfold next. The rowdy man, whom we shall call Gunner, was not accustomed to being challenged. His tattooed arms flexed as he cracked his knuckles, trying to intimidate William further. "What's wrong, old man? Too scared to say anything?" he taunted, his voice dripping with malice. The bar had fallen silent. All eyes were glued to the unfolding confrontation. The bartender, mid-wipe of a glass, looked on with concern. William set his glass down carefully, the soft clink echoing in the quiet bar. "You've had your fun," he said calmly, his voice low yet authoritative. "Now, walk away." Gunner straightened up, laughing derisively. "Walk away? You got some nerve, old man. I'm in charge here. You don't understand what's happening." His cronies laughed, feeding off his bravado, unaware of who they were dealing with. William's eyes met Gunner's with a cold clarity. "You might want to reconsider," he stated quietly. His words were not a threat but a stark fact. Gunner, however, was not one to back down easily. With a swift, violent shove, Gunner pushed William off his stool, sending the veteran sprawling to the floor. Laughter erupted among Gunner's crew as they jeered at the fallen man. "Not so tough now, are you?" Gunner sneered, standing over William. In a blink, William swept Gunner's legs out from under him with a precise motion, sending the larger man crashing to the ground. Instantly on his feet again, William stood over the stunned Gunner. His calm composure never faltered. Gunner lay on the floor, eyes wide with disbelief. The crowd was utterly silent, shocked by the unexpected turn of events. "Son," William said softly, a faint smirk crossing his face, "I've been through worse than you can imagine. Don't make me show you." His words carried the weight of his many battles, and they resonated deeply with everyone present. The group of men around Gunner took a collective step back, their confidence wavering as they realized this confrontation was far beyond what they had anticipated. The aura of invincibility around Gunner had shattered in the face of William's unyielding calm and strength. As Gunner scrambled to his feet, his face painted with a mix of embarrassment and anger, William's mind drifted momentarily to another time, a battlefield decades past. He recalled a younger version of himself, standing tall amidst chaos, issuing orders, and leading men through smoke and fire. Calm under pressure had always been his greatest weapon. Now, it served him again. He blinked, grounding himself back in the present as the bar's patrons watched him with a mixture of awe and fear. Gunner, nursing his bruised pride and twisted arm, glared at William. "You shouldn't have listened to him," he muttered through gritted teeth. William regarded him calmly, his tone steady. "You had a choice, Gunner. Walk away before it got worse." But Gunner was not finished. Fueled by pride, he reached for a beer bottle on the bar. smashing it against the counter. William's eyes narrowed as he recognized the threat. He had dealt with men like Gunnar before, men who didn't know when to quit. With measured steps, William approached Gunnar. His gaze never left the broken bottle in Gunnar's hand as he spoke with calm command. "You don't want this fight, Gunnar." Gunnar hesitated, glancing for support from his friends. But they no longer laughed. The mood had shifted. They realized their leader had led them into a far more dangerous situation than a mere bar brawl. One of Gunnar's friends muttered nervously, "Come on, man, let's just go." But Gunnar's ego prevented retreat. Lunging at William, bottle swinging wildly, Gunnar aimed to strike. In seconds, William sidestepped the attack with the fluidity of a seasoned soldier. He caught Gunnar's arm, twisting it behind his back, forcing him to drop the bottle. With one swift motion, William disarmed Gunnar completely. The bar fell silent once more as Gunnar sank to his knees. Face twisted in pain, William released him, stepping back and dusting off his hands. His demeanor as calm as ever. "You should have listened," he advised quietly. Gunnar, too proud and too angry to respond, could only nurse his wounded pride. The other patrons, now witnessing the true weight of their actions, began to back off, their earlier bravado replaced with respect and fear of the experienced veteran. The confrontation had shifted in tone, from a rowdy fight to a lesson imparted by a man who had seen the worst and chosen to rise above it. Just as the confrontation began to settle, one of Gunnar's friends, a lanky man with a mean streak, stepped forward. Unwilling to let matters rest. "You think you're some kind of hero?" he spat. "Just because you're a vet doesn't mean you own this place." William turned his cold gaze toward the newcomer, his voice calm yet edged with warning. "You don't want this," he repeated, his patience thinning. The man, fueled by adrenaline and misplaced loyalty, charged at William with a roar. Reacting swiftly, William stepped aside, using the attacker's momentum against him. In one fluid motion, he grabbed the man's arm and flipped him onto the bar floor. The man groaned in pain, clearly not expecting such a calculated response. Observing this, the remainder of Gunnar's group saw their comrade taken down so easily. Their confidence shattered further, and they began to realize that they had picked a fight with someone far beyond their reckoning. The bartender, sensing that the situation might spiral out of control again, intervened. "All right, that's enough," he said firmly, though his voice trembled slightly. "This ends here." William nodded once, never taking his eyes off the disoriented group. Their morale was broken, yet the lesson had not fully sunk in for Gunnar. Nursing his bruised ego and a twisted arm, Gunnar slowly stood up and glared at William. "This isn't over, old man," he hissed, pride refusing to yield. But William only offered a faint smile, a glimmer of amusement in his eyes. The group, now thoroughly disoriented and wary, lingered uncertainly. Gunnar's face flushed with humiliation as he took one last look at William. Sizing him up one final time, with a grunt and a muttered curse, he stumbled back toward his friends, pride wounded but spirit unbroken. The patrons, sensing that the immediate threat had passed, exhaled in relief. The clatter of glasses slowly resumed, and quiet conversations began anew, though the tension in the air lingered like a bad aftertaste. William Carter, ever composed, returned to his seat at the bar. The bartender approached cautiously, setting down a fresh drink on the house. William nodded in acknowledgement, saying nothing. He was not there for free drinks or accolades. He was there to find a moment of respite from years of burdens he carried. As he settled back into his quiet routine, his eyes scanning the room warily, the door swung open again, heralding yet another unexpected visitor. The door revealed a figure from William Carter's past, Lieutenant Sam Walker. Sam, now a decorated officer in the local police force, wore a uniform that glinted under the dim bar lights. His face bore a mixture of surprise and amusement as he surveyed the scene. Approaching slowly, Sam greeted William with a respectful nod, using the old nickname known only to those who shared history. "Lieutenant," William replied softly, the weight of the years evident in his voice. Sam chuckled, his tone edged with concern. "I heard there was some trouble here. I couldn't believe it when I saw your name in the report." William simply shrugged modestly, his calm demeanor belying the gravity of the earlier events. As Sam settled onto a stool beside him, his eyes surveyed the group in the corner, still reeling, still nursing their bruised egos. Sam spoke quietly. "I have a feeling there's more to this story than just a bar fight." William took a sip of his drink, his mind drifting back to the camaraderie of old battlefields and the heavy responsibility of leadership. He and Sam shared a quiet moment of understanding, two soldiers recognizing that trouble often found them, no matter how far they walked from the front lines. Their conversation shifted between reflections on the past and cautious observations of the present. Sam noted that Gunnar still lingered, his anger unresolved. William confirmed that while he had calmed the immediate threat, true resolution required more than physical confrontation. It required guidance and mentorship. As they spoke, Gunnar approached once more, eyes burning with unspent rage. Gunnar growled, "You think this is over? Old man, I'm not done with you." His voice was low and venomous. Trembling with pride, Lieutenant Sam placed a firm hand on his holster, his presence a deterrent. "Don't do this, kid," Sam warned. William faced Gunnar calmly. "You have nothing left to prove here," he said steadily. "Walk away before it gets worse." Gunnar hesitated, his own words betraying uncertainty. For a brief moment, William saw a flicker of doubt in his eyes, hesitation between pride and reason. Realizing his point, William continued, "Strength isn't always about fighting. Sometimes, the bravest act is to step away." Gunnar, grappling with conflicting emotions, slowly lowered his fists. The silence that followed was heavy but meaningful. Sam nodded approvingly at William's words. The bar patrons, sensing a truce, gradually returned to their conversations. William's calm presence had once again diffused potential chaos. As Gunnar retreated with his group, his anger mingled with introspection, a seed of change planted in the night. Leaving the bar with Sam, William reflected on the series of events. Though he had encountered hostility and confrontation, his responses were measured and wise. The encounter with Gunnar had not only preserved peace but offered an opportunity for reflection and potential growth. In that dimly lit bar, a lesson was imparted, that true strength lies not in brute force, but in wisdom, restraint, and the willingness to guide others toward a better path. William Carter's quiet heroism throughout the night revealed a deeper truth about courage and leadership. He faced a rowdy group not with brute force alone but with measured calmness and wisdom born of years in service. By diffusing hostility with restraint and offering guidance rather than vengeance, he modeled a path of redemption for those consumed by pride and anger. His interactions with Lieutenant Sam Walker and the young man filled with fury illustrated that even in moments of great tension, there remained space for understanding, mentorship, and personal growth. The confrontation transformed from a mere bar fight into a turning point, where aggression met wisdom and hostility gave way to introspection. William's approach inspired those around him to consider the long-term consequences of their actions, to seek strength not in violence but in restraint, and to find purpose in mentoring others. His legacy extended beyond that single night. It became a beacon of hope for turning conflict into opportunities for personal change and community improvement. The lessons learned at the bar, about patience, empathy, and leading by example, resonate as a powerful reminder that wisdom and courage can diffuse even the most volatile confrontations, offering a path toward redemption and a brighter future for all involved.